Hi everyone, welcome back to Blender. So last time we looked at making a model tank and we put together a very quick model here using the subdivision surface, loop cut and duplicate. And this time we want to try something a little bit different. We're going to try a different way of starting the model. So rather than making different blocks and putting them all together, we're going to grab our original cube and make that into our main shape. So let's start. What we're going to do is from our very first default cube, we are going to work it backwards and forwards to make a model. So to do that, what we want to do is go into edit mode with the cube selected, and we're going to give it some subdivision surface. Now we don't actually no, let's not do subdivision surface yet. We will do that later, but for now I'll show you what I want to do. So what I want to do is make this into one long body shape. Okay, so I might start by extruding with E. So extrude and scale down a bit and grab on the Z. Extrude, scale down a bit more, grab on the Z. So remember, extrude with E, scale with S, G, Z, grabs on the Z axis. Okay, you can kind of see we've starting to get sort of a tail situation going on. So extrude further, much further this time, taper it right off, and grab it down like that. So now we've got sort of a tail end of the body. If we wanted to, we move these down as well, but we're only doing a quick model at the moment. Now we're going to do the same on this side, but of course this time we want to have sort of a neck shape coming up like this. So we're going to extrude, rotate, so R, X, so rotate around the X axis, and we're going to grab it, GZ, there we go. Let's rotate it a little bit more. We're going to finish this up quickly, it doesn't need to be perfect. And if we extrude with E a little bit more, rotate with X, scale it down, let's just grab it a little bit up that way, move it bigger like that, and extrude and scale. There we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to rotate this around the X that's facing forward, just make a quick head. So extrude that, scale it bigger, extrude it again, grab it down a little bit, and scale it again. So now we can see we've got a dinosaur-esque body to use. So this is all well and good, but what we want to do is, at the moment it's very, very clunky, very sort of edged and everything, so if we just use subdivision surface, we can immediately see we get much more of a sort of the dinosaur body we like. So at this point you might look at it and go, well, actually there's a few things we want to change. So we could say, well, actually I want this part here to come a bit longer to have more of a trunk of a main body. So we can go on to press 2 on numpad, changing it to edges, and we can grab this on the Y. So grab on the Y axis, GY, and there we go. We can move that forward, and now we can see we've got more of a chest plate area. Okay, that'll do for the moment. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create some legs to come out here. Now if we select this face with our 3, remember 3 or selecting up here, we can subdivide. So right click and then press the subdivide selected. It says edges but it means faces. So I guess it edges and faces if you're going to be pernickety. So we're going to click that one, and you can see it immediately subdivides it down to 4. It does affect the model as well. You can see it's sort of the extra faces sort of changes subdivision surfaces workings. But we don't want that one, we want to go a little bit further. So now we've got extra faces because the number of cuts is 2, so that means there's 2 cuts going across each of these places here. So once we've got that, we want to select these faces here, and we're just going to give a few little legs quickly. So E, by the way, that was shift selecting, I just did that without thinking. So click on one, hold shift, and you can grab more at the same time. It's very helpful. Press E, and you can extrude down some lovely little legs. Let's make, if you press extrude twice, you get this sort of little chunky effect, which is quite nice because you've got extra faces to work with. We could scale them out a bit if you wanted to. No, not scaling for now. Okay, so now we've got our dinosaur shape. It looks wonderful. If you want to make it sort of less low poly and more smooth, you can crank up the render and the viewpoint, so you can see now we've got a very smooth dinosaur just by updating, or reworking our render and viewpoint subdivisions on the subdivision surface. Now we've got a very shiny looking dinosaur. Go even further, I mean render, you can put up to 5 or 6 if you've got if your computer is happy with it. As per usual, we want to give it some kind of material, so blue seems appropriate, and some kind of background, and this time we'll go for sort of an orangey background. Where is that? There we go. So when you render it out, you'll get something that looks like this. Okay, so that is your second task. You're starting with the default cube and extruding out to make a body shape, and then adding in some legs using your subdivision. Remember, with subdivision, choose the face you want, right click, then click subdivide. Okay, have a little try, it's quite fun, and once you've done this, you've sort of hit all this early criteria of knowing how to use Blender. So well done, and it'll be interesting to see what you make.